Hi guys, so excited. We get to try a few new things here in the next coming weeks. I decided that this would be a great time to finish our book, Friend or Fiction. We left off on chapter 12. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be reading this and uploading these into YouTube and a playlist. And I'm going to share that playlist with your parents, and that's why you're watching this. And so each day you can listen to me read the book. All right, so here we go. This is our first day, and we are on chapter 12 called The Funny Stuff. When we got out at 3, Zoe and I skipped next door to Taveta Elementary and picked up Bo. I stood up extra straight as I took his hand in mine. I felt different this afternoon. Good different. Important different. The kind of different you feel when you have a best friend who is a living, breathing, perfect human being who has come with you to pick up your brother. Because why wouldn't she? We're going to walk home with my friend Zoe, I told Bo. She just moved in across the street. Zoe, he repeated. That's the same name as your imaginary friend. I froze. Yeah, I said, but lots of kids have the same name. Not me. I'm the only Bo in my whole class. Well, you're special. Now come on. Can you hold my other hand, Zoe? Bo asked. I laughed, even though a weird surge of something, sadness, jealousy, zipped through me. Bo had everything so easy. If he wanted a new friend, he would just ask, and bam, he had one. Zoe glanced at me and I nodded. Bo asked, Can you swing me back and forth? Zoe glanced at me again, and again I nodded. This was pretty weird, being in charge of someone else's decisions. But at the time, observation, it was also really cool to be needed. 1, 2, 3, swing, I shouted. Our hands lurched forward, and so did Bo. His little body flung up, and he landed in a fit of contagious laughs. 1, 2, 3, swing, Zoe shouted, and up he went again. This is fun, Bo said. I smiled at the two of them so hard my cheeks hurt. Yeah, I said, it really is. Mom and Dad's truck pulled into the driveway a couple minutes after we got home and said goodbye to Zoe. Dad had some follow-up doctor appointment, and he looked sleepy. But that didn't stop him from asking his typical end-of-the-day questions only a second after they'd come inside. So, how was school today? He asked. What's new with Zoe? Who defeated the bad guy? I thought I'd have more time to figure out what I was going to say, but now it was too late. It was one thing to make up a story on the spot when I didn't want him to worry about my stolen notebook. It was something else completely to skip over the little detail that new Zoe was Notebook Zoe, a real person who lived across the street, went to my school, and was even more amazing in real life than she was on paper. I stood on my tiptoes and stared out the front window as Bo started to talk. Zoe waved to me from her window across the street. As much as I wanted to hang out with her every second of every day for the rest of forever, I had to come up with a plan before I brought her around Mom and Dad. Dad especially. He'd heard every single story about her I'd ever written. He knew exactly who she was and what she looked like. If he knew she was real, Dad would be big-time confused, and who knows what being confused would do to his liver and his body. Sure, he was done with chemo for now, but he was also done with chemo toward the end of our 5th grade, and only the cancer came back then. So it turned out that he wasn't really done at all. He had to be done for real this time, though. I needed him to be done for real, which meant for now I had to keep Zoe away. Bo finished describing how the bad guy came for his library teacher, but she defeated him because everybody was always defeated that bad cylinder thingy with a crown. That's great, Bo, said Dad. He scratched the brim of his hat. Tall cat in the hat. Jade? The question played over and over in my head. What was new with Zoe? Oh, not much. She tried chopped liver. Wasn't a big fan. But I didn't say that. I didn't say anything because my mouth got way too dry and scratchy to even swallow, let alone to make words come out. It felt like a desert in there, cacti and all. I think the author's trying to tell us something here about what she was feeling, and maybe she's kind of like didn't want to lie to her parents, and that's maybe why her mouth got really dry. Luckily, Mom burst into the living room. Her long hair was up in a messy bun, with big strands escaping and going every which way. She brushed a big piece of it out of her face with a rubber glove-covered hand. Has anyone seen the dustbuster? She decided it's cleaning night, Dad told us. Hi to you too, I said. Sorry, said Mom, leaning over to kiss both of us on top of our heads. Hi, love you, sorry, she repeated. You know how I get. It's hard to stop. Hi. You've barely started, I told her, but hi. Mom and Bo were both like that. Besides their hot fudge-colored hair and their love of monster movies, neither one liked to stop once they started a project. Mom jogged in place, like standing was too boring for her, so she had to spice it up. So, Dustbuster. Anyone? No, if you were a Dustbuster, where would you be? Legoland, said Bo. A bookstore, I said. My doctor's office, no contest, said Dad. We all looked at each other and totally cracked up. My family was so weird. Legoland, a bookstore, and Dad's doctor's office? Yeah, right. We hadn't left Colorado in 2 years, and we definitely weren't going anywhere anytime soon. So how the heck would our dustbuster go clean any of those places? Except Dad did live at the doctor's. So that one was actually realistic. Observation. My family laughs at things that shouldn't be funny, once you think about it. Questions for further research. Why doesn't anything ever happen to us that's really funny? Okay, new plan, Mom said, flicking some dust off her face. Dance party. She tapped something on her phone, and soon the whole room was thumping with some funny kid song. Dad clapped his hands as Mom spun Bo and me around. We shouted, squealed, twirled in big circles, our arms waving and our feet flailing. We flew around the room. I closed my eyes, soaking it in. It had been a weird day, but a pretty good one, too. Maybe my family could laugh for normal reasons sometimes after all. After the dance party, I raced up to my room and went straight to the window. I shouldn't have been tired, but I had more energy than ever. My window faced the same direction as the one in the living room, so I could still see Zoe sitting by her front window. She waved to me right away with both arms, like she'd been watching my window all night, waiting for me to appear in it. I mouthed, "What's?" and then pointed up at the ceiling. Zoe pointed at her ceiling too, like she was answering, "The ceiling." The whole thing felt kind of familiar, like it had happened before. As I held up a finger, almost automatically, I realized it had. This was a story I'd written over the summer. We were both bored, but we couldn't hang out for some reason, and since neither of us had cell phones, we were stuck watching each other through the windows like people in the olden days. And I said, "What's up?" And she said, "The ceiling," just like this. Now we were going to play charades, which was going to be hilarious because we couldn't actually guess each other's words unless we somehow magically became master lip readers. I held up one finger because I was going to act out the word monkey. Next, Zoe would hold up 2 fingers and pretend to be a vampire chicken. That's what I thought she was anyway. I never really found out for sure. This would go on pretty much forever, with little breaks here and there for snacks and hysterical giggling. We played until it was so dark that we could barely see each other's windows, just like in the story. When the game ended and the world became pitch black, I stayed calm and happy. Even though I couldn't see her anymore, I knew she was still there and alive. I fell asleep with a smile on my face. End of the chapter.